Monday, May 31st, we are winding down a 3-day weekend, and not just any 3-day weekend. It is the Memorial Day weekend. Shout out to all the families who have lost somebody out there that has battled for our freedom. I do not take that lightly, and shout out to all the soldiers we have lost over the many years. Big love for all of you out there. If you are in the military and you have lost a friend or a family member, thank you so much for staying strong. And we recognize that, all of us. And I don't think it's said enough. And that is not in any kind of weird political landscape of what side you're on or who you're with. It's just the truth. There's people out there that are way braver than us that keep the freedom going. Thank you. Let's get into the episode. Not only is it the 3-day weekend, but it is a 38-year anniversary of the US Festival, one of the greatest festivals I've ever seen in my life, I ever saw. Whatever the proper grammar is, I was there. And I was blown away. Scorpions, Clash, David Bowie, Van Halen, Wall of Voodoo, Joe Walsh, Motley Crue, Judas Priest, everyone out there. People ask, who was the best? Fuck, the whole festival was the best. How about that? Steve Wozniak was the best for putting it on. It wasn't his first one. He did one in 82. Lost his ass somehow. I don't know how. I still would love to have him on the podcast and ask all the details of that. Almost had him for a minute. Was hoping to have him on as a guest, but it didn't happen. But he created one of the greatest memories in my skull, and I want to thank him face to face one day. The US Festival 1983 happened on this 3-day weekend. My mom rented a Toyota Chinook. We drove down the 5 from the San Francisco Bay Area. Battled the 110 heat. Who cares? We're here for fucking wild rock and roll. And what better guest to have on today than a rock and roll band? All rock and roll bands start somewhere and hope they get some traction and hope they get noticed. And this band caught my ear and my eye. They worked their ass off. It's Bexley. And the guest today is the singer-songwriter Amanda Hardy. And I'll tell you what, these guys kick ass. It was great to talk to Amanda, and I had no idea that she was originally from Seattle, and she was influenced heavily by Lane Staley. And at 24 years old, she is very, very rocking, and I think is going to have a great career ahead of her. With these powerful vocals, great influences. We go way deep into some grunge, lots of Alice in Chains talk here, lots of music talk, of course. So when I am done interviewing her, do me a favor and go check them out on YouTube. Bexley, Bexley. They have some great videos out that they shot theirself. They recorded the records theirself. And it is just an honor to have them on, some fellow grinders, as I would call them, out in the world of art, trying to smash their way into people's eardrums. Let's get into a couple things, and then we will carry on. New shows just dropped. I'm going to be at Sacramento Punchline headlining. All these are on DeanDelRey.com. Elko, Nevada headlining. Cleveland is coming, and so is Dallas. DeanDelRey.com. Over here, just getting some shit together with the CactusRadioNetwork.com. All the podcasts are up on it now. Dark Fonzie with Mark Maron and I. There is Dark Fonzie merch available. You can hit me on my Instagram, DM me. And I will give you the info, or email me, and I will give you the info. You can email me from the website, DeanDelRey.com. Dark Fonzie shirts are available. Patreon is in full effect, and there is 106 bonus episodes up right now, 106. And you can also join the Zoom Fest once a week where I hang out with all of you and we shoot the shit about whatever. New Patreoners, Amber Sky, just met her on the Zoom Fest. Very cool. 101 and Laura Heinen. And a big, big love to Robin Yates for an incredible donation. Thank you so much. I've just been working my head off, trying to write new comedy, lots of shows over the last weekend. I did the Comedy Store quite a bit and the Laugh Factory, and I did the Roosevelt Hotel, which was absolutely fun. Starting to dust off the rust, so come join me on these road shows. Buy tickets, please, in advance because they probably will sell out due to the, smaller seating. Just, that's Gertie right there. Gertie is snoring a little bit. She's still resting from her 5-year-old birthday yesterday. She turned 5. It was her birthday yesterday, and she got a cupcake and some ice cream and lots of love from Daddy Dean. I absolutely love this dog, and she is a miracle to me. She's just a pew. Gertie, ooh, you smell, Gertie. Gertie farted right when I mentioned her name. I'm saying how great she is, and she just farted. Come on, Gertie. What are you doing? All right, I love all you guys, man, and I truly do mean that. I really do mean it. It just blows my mind that you guys tune in each week, and it just means the world to me. Let's get into a little 3-day weekend rock and roll right here. Amanda Hardy from Bexley. Candles are lit. All right, here we are, another great episode of Let There Be Talk. Introduce yourself.
I am Amanda from Bexley.
Is that your last name?
No, my last name is Hardy. And Bexley's it's like sort of a mononym from my dad's side of the family. They're all from Bexley, England.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Oh, right on.
Fun fact.
Well, what's funny is how did we meet? Did you go to the Bon Scott tribute or something?
Yes, but you actually met my guitar player, Steve, on a Southwest flight. And then we met...
I do remember that now.
Yeah. Then we met at a Rival Son show. Because we were both there in like the front of house area, and
at the wheel turn.
Yeah.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. So yeah, and then the Bon Scott thing, but yeah.
I do remember meeting that guy on a flight.
Yeah.
I was coming home from somewhere, or something, and he said he was in a band. But the cool thing about it was I didn't know who your band was, and then you started following me and I saw these videos you were doing and stuff, and I was like, wow, these guys are pretty rocking. Thanks. And I didn't know if it was all self-made or whatever, but that's what I wanted to get into. How did you guys start? And holy shit, you guys what I love about it is it's a lot like me. You're not like waiting for somebody. You just do it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, nothing's going to get done unless you do it yourself. So
yeah, especially these days in a rock band.
Yeah.
The last year, hope some A&R guys stop by the Viper Room while we're playing and sign us. That shit is so...
It does not happen.
and in people's minds, they think that's what's going to happen to them still, as they hit the bong at home and play video games. They're like, yeah, we got a showcase next month. It's
we're no longer just musicians. We're also content creators and, everything that goes with, PR, whatever, publicists. We're all that for ourselves. So, the band kind of started, I think, almost 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago or so. We've all sort of done our own projects over, years and years, but the band Bexley formed. It was kind of my idea, and then I pulled in Steve and our drummer Tosh, and we put out an EP that was more just focused on songs that I'd written. And then after that, we got together and did this record that we're releasing this summer. So we've been putting out singles from that.
Now, were you from Los Angeles or what was going on? Have you been out here grinding for years? What's that story?
Yeah, I'm from Seattle.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, our drummer's from Fullerton, like SoCal.
Oh, yeah.
And Steve's from like northern Ontario, so like way up in Canada. But I've been in LA for like 6 years now, just grinding.
Yeah, were you playing music in Seattle before that?
Yeah, I've been playing for like 10 years or so. And I played like all over Seattle, and I kind of got my start doing Elaine Staley tribute.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, so like Alice in Chains was my favorite band ever when I was like 13.
Still one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, me too. I mean,
oh my God, I toured with them, and it just like it was like a dream come true. I was laughing every night, like they're paying me.
Yeah, Lane was like my idol. Oh. So I did like a YouTube video of the song "Brother."
Yeah.
And somebody saw it that was putting the tribute together, because the tribute happens every year for Lane, and like his mom has a foundation for recovering addicts and that sort of thing. So they saw this video and asked me to play a couple songs. Have you been to Seattle, like the Showbox up there?
Yeah.
So it's at the Showbox.
Yeah. I had Jeff Tate from Queensryche.
Oh, no way.
And we were talking about how we love the Showbox because I had played it so many times and stuff.
Yeah.
Couldn't fucking remember the name of it.
Oh my God.
Both of us. And he's like, I drove by it today. And we were like, what is it called?
It's epic. I've been there, like I've played there like 5 or 6 times just in my youth. And that was where I played my first show, was the Lane tribute, which is kind of a cool story to be able to play there.
Wow. And like, so were you playing a solo acoustic?
Yeah, it was me and this other guy. We were doing I think 3 acoustic songs. They stuck us in the middle of the show, and we were like 2 13-year-old kids. It was there was members of My Sister's Machine playing.
Oh, remember that band?
Yeah.
Fucking great.
Yeah.
Hey, that band was straight up killer.
Yeah.
That first record was so amazing.
Yeah, and Nick Pollock, he's the singer. He was there, and he was a big supporter of us, and we sort of got in with that Alice in Chains family, and they really supported me throughout the rest of the years. And this is kind of how I know Mike Inez. He was at the Bon Scott thing, and
right.
So we were there to see him. But then it was a lucky coincidence, you put the whole thing on, and yeah. Anyway, that's kind of where I got my start, was in Seattle.
Were you taking lessons and stuff, learning to sing? Because like if you listen to Lane and you listen to Jerry sing together, it's just
beautiful.
Yeah, it chokes me up, man, even right now thinking about it.
Yeah.
And it's not something you can just kind of pop out of the gate. Sure, you can have some natural talent, but then you have to learn the worlds of harmony, vocals, and that kind of stuff, which is another level of singing. Yeah,
I mean, you're kind of talking my language. Lane is the reason. I'd say Lane and Jerry and the Beatles are the reason why I am like, harmonies are my jam. So I took lessons from a lady named Susan Carr, and she has this like book, or it's like an app and lesson thing she does called The Art of Screaming.
Oh yeah.
And I guess she taught Jerry like some and some of the other guys back then, but she really like gave me the stepping stones for that.
Up in Seattle?
Yeah.
Wow, cool. Yeah, and what was some of the methods she was using? Was it a lot of warm up, or were you practicing to sing in harmonies to songs and stuff? Like when I first started singing lessons, it was like an old lady and we were singing. Yeah, we were singing. Hello, is it me you're looking for?
I was singing like Ave Maria and like opera stuff.
Yeah, that stuff's cool.
Yeah, no, she really taught me to sing from like my diaphragm.
Right.
So like her whole thing is like to go through the anatomy of the body and really like learn what the muscles are doing so you can understand like how it's coming out of you. And that kind of clicked it in my head. And I think I mostly learned harmonies from singing along to Lane and like doing his parts in Alice in Chains songs and, Mad Season songs. Like,
oh my God, Mad Season.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Like I auditioned for, at one point Cantrell had a kind of a cover band he was just going to do for fun.
Oh,
and it was him and it was Billy Duffy.
Oh.
And from the Cult.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And they were going to play the Troubadour, and they needed a couple different singers. So I came in and auditioned. I did "Hole in the Sky" by Ozzy, but then we did
cool.
we did Rain When I Die.
Yeah.
And I am a huge Alice in Chains fan, but I can't tell sometimes who's singing what.
I know their voices like would blend, and you'd be like,
I didn't really know. I didn't know Jerry at all, and here I am.
Yeah.
I've been in LA for like 2 years. I'm down at Mates, and so we start Rain When I Die, and I'm singing, and he's like, "You're singing my part." You're singing my part. Oh my I was like, what? It's cranking loud. He goes, my part. I was like,
no.
whoa. I was all intimidated. I was like, oh, shit, I'm out of here,
Oh, man.
But later we became good friends.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and then when I did the tour with him, every night I would just watch exactly what he was singing.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
And it's tough, man, to hear those two sing.
I mean, they came up with some amazing harmonies, and from what I've listened to and heard, Lane would just walk in and sing a part like off the top of his head, and that would be it. Like, I don't know, he's just amazing to me.
I think the Mad Season shit is some of the greatest.
Yeah.
I just released today, episode 600's coming up,
nice,
and I want to have some dream guests on the list, and one is Mike McCready.
Mike McCready, I saw that.
Mike McCready's I think he's just a god to me, man. I mean,
He's
Temple
so
of the
cool.
Dog, Mad Season, and Alice in Chains. Mm-hmm. And it's just mind-boggling how good this guy is.
I know.
And severely underrated.
Yeah.
Severely underrated.
Definitely.
Better than any of those guys in Seattle.
Yeah, he's
better
really
than any
good.
of them.
Really, really good.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You know?
I know. I have a funny Mike McCready story.
Yeah?
I went to a baseball game with my dad. Like, we were going to see the Mariners. And him and I, like, sat down in our seats, and we were getting ready to watch. And I was like, Dad, Mike McCready's 2 rows ahead of us. And he was like, no, he's not. That's just some guy, like, my age, like, watching a baseball game. And Mike McCready, because I'd seen him, like, a week before at a record signing thing, he turned around, and he saw me, and he went, hey. And my dad was like, that is Mike McCready of Pearl Jam.
Wow, man.
It was just funny.
Now, how old are you?
24.
24. So you didn't get to see any of those guys like when it was happening,
No.
but I saw all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it was pretty mind-boggling. I was going to say, if you were around during that era of Seattle, what a wild thing. But as you're coming up in Seattle, that's long, folklore, the great grunge era.
Yeah, and it was just like getting to meet all the people that knew those people, and being in the scene and having them accept me as someone who was sort of reviving it a little bit.
What was the music scene like while you were living there, and why did you cut out to LA, just to dive more into it?
Yeah, well, basically the scene was, I had a bunch of friends that did similar music to us, and we would play shows all the time around town. I think I moved down here just to broaden my spectrum of musicians. I mean, I wanted to get into the LA scene. You come to LA to make it or whatever, but
was the scene up there non-existing in rock? Is it all techie now? Because that's what happened to San Francisco.
It's a little of both, and I think it was sort of slowly going that way. The rock bands would do the normal circuit that they would normally do. Like, it was the same bands playing the same circuit, and everyone was friends, and it wasn't growing really. So I just thought, I've done this. I'll come back to this, but let me go explore LA.
So do you come out here with what? Some money and like
really.
dreams? Like, how does it happen? Do you get an apartment? Do you sleep on floors?
I slept on a lot of different people's couches. I stayed with people in their apartments. Like, at first when I came down to LA, I worked with this producer, and it was just sort of a different experience. Not really the music I wanted to go in that direction, but I would stay with like his engineer's apartment. Like, she was like interning for him, and I would stay with her, or I would stay with somebody that she knew who had a couch. And eventually I met Steve, and Steve is the guitarist, but he's also been my boyfriend for years, and we met at NAMM.
At NAMM?
Yeah, this is a great story.
You're like the only girl at NAMM.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean? We met through a mutual friend. His name's Robert Knight, and he's a photographer that toured with Zeppelin. And like,
whoa,
he's like awesome. You know that photo of Zeppelin holding Zeppelin 2 in Hawaii, like outside
I love
the airplane?
that photo.
That's his photo.
The 2-inch tapes.
Yeah,
God.
yeah. And he did like Jimi Hendrix and Janis Joplin, and epic people. So he has this like group. He scours the internet for people that play guitar because he's obsessed with like Stevie Ray Vaughan and blues guitar. And so he's like, if I can get a bunch of young people like that are of the same mind to meet each other, maybe we can like make this happen again.
That's kind of cool. He's like trying to start his own scene. Like instead of sitting around going, there's no good music anymore. He's like
they're all over the world. They're on the internet.
They really are, man.
Yeah.
I mean, YouTube is loaded with incredible musicians.
Yeah. So he thought Steve and I would get on pretty well, and he was right. So we have the same mind when it comes to music. It's like, it's kind of crazy. Like, we just finished the record and we were doing our mixes for it, and we would have notes and we'd go over each other's notes and they were the same. Like,
wow.
Like, we just have the same sort of musical direction, I think. So it's been a really good like pairing.
So you meet him at NAMM, and then what happens? You guys start getting together and writing tunes together. Do you write on acoustic, or because you play bass in the band, right?
I do a little bit of everything. I mainly play guitar and sing, but we played both of us played bass on the record just because we're short a bass player.
Right.
So, and we kind of like the look of a 3-piece anyway. So we'll swap back and forth. But when we met, we started hanging out at first, and then I was sort of doing my own thing. Like, Bexley wasn't a project yet, and we were kind of working on our own solo projects. But we would write together, and it worked. And after like a year, we packed up all his stuff in Canada and came down to LA and got an apartment. And we actually lived with a friend of ours in a house in Van Nuys, which was not great.
Van Nuys is $1 million now. Can you believe it?
That's just...
I looked at a house there. It was $750, and it went for $890.
No.
In Van Nuys.
We had like police officers coming to our door asking if we'd heard machine guns. Like,
wow.
It was not an ideal place to be, but we learned very quickly not to live there.
Yeah.
Moved to North Hollywood, Glendale. Now we're in Pasadena.
That's pretty safe.
Yeah. We like it over there. It's like kind of quieter away from all the Hollywood end of things. But
you guys get together and you get together and you do this EP, but it was tunes that you already had?
Yeah, so I worked with a producer on that one who's really cool, a similar mindset. He's ironically from Washington as well, and is just sort of like an LA transplant. But we had this like sort of vision to do this, and then Steve helped with coming up with some of the parts, but it was mainly us. And then once that was out, Steve and I were like, well, why don't we write this whole record during, we had started it right before the pandemic happened, and then once everything was locked down, we were like, let's just do this. Like, let's just do an album that we feel is what we want, like not listening to anybody else, and just write what we like. So
and where are you recording that at?
We record everything at home.
Oh, rad.
Yeah. We have a home studio.
So just Pro Tools?
Yeah, Pro Tools. Our drummer has a bunch of QSC equipment in his like drum room. I don't know if you've seen his like drum page or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that room is where he records everything. And we just went down there. It was like a really hot day in July, and just recorded all the drums in his room. And then Steve's really good at editing it all up, and yeah, everything we recorded
sounds
ourselves.
Fantastic.
Thank you. I put a lot of that on our mix engineer, who really made it amazing. But yeah.
Now, as I listened to it, it was funny because I was at Jam in the Van doing comedy.
Oh, nice.
And they're like, hey, we're looking for some LA bands, and I recommended you and the Hots. And they go, oh, no, we had Bexley here.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, you did? That's fucking great. So then I listened to your live sessions from there, And that song "Falling to Pieces," man, you go for it on that one.
Yeah, that one's fun to do live.
Yeah, I mean, there's
really
some
fun.
strong vocals in there because I think the problem with singers at your age is either they get it or they watch too much The Voice and American Idol, and they just doing these goddamn vocal acrobats just to show off, but they have no soul or feeling. They're just like,
yeah, all the like runs.
And America's trained to see that and go, oh my God, incredible. Right. You know, so it's funny because you think about some of the greatest singers aren't even the greatest singers.
No.
It's just everything they have. Like to me, Jim Morrison is a goddamn god.
He's pretty cool.
But he's, you know, don't you love me, babe?
Yeah,
he's like he's like a baritone, you know, but it's great to hear somebody like you to where it's like, oh, this is a voice right here.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you got it down. And so I was like, that drew me in. And then to see all the work you guys were doing, I was so into the work ethic
Thanks.
of videos and recording and constantly out there, man. It's such a grind in a band because I don't really see the end game unless you do it because you love it.
Yeah, and that's really what this entire record was we love the music. Like I'm in love with that record. Like it's, to me, it's, you know, genuinely us, and it feels really good.
That's what's great.
Yeah. And it's just, you know, doing the videos ourselves because we don't have any money, and like, you know, but we did actually get to work with a really cool videographer who's also, he loves the music. On the last couple songs, there's a song called Misfit Love. And
what's the one that was really kind of psychedelic?
That's If We Have to Die. That's off the new record.
That's fucking great. The video and the song. The song
it was
is
literally
great.
Like in our apartment on this kind of wall.
Oh, just a green screen?
No, we just
a white wall.
Just a white wall
with the lighting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we had like a little lamp, and then we had bought on the internet. Worldwide on the internet. We did like what was it? The acid trip kind of.
Yeah, lava lamp stuff.
Yeah.
Like the old oil stuff from the Fillmore.
Yeah, so you could buy that package on the internet and just throw it on the video, and it makes this like.
Oh, so it's an app, like an effect.
Yeah, it wasn't even. It was all video editing on Steve's end.
Wow, I love that because it's so White Rabbit. You know, Gray Slick Fillmore.
Yeah.
You know, dun with the psychedelic shit.
Yeah.
And it looks really good.
Thank you. I hope so. We had no budget, so
yeah.
we were like, what can we do in our apartment? I don't know.
So what do you do when you get the record in the can? It's in the can, you're getting ready. You've been dropping singles, that's your plan, which is genius because nobody listens to a whole record.
Right.
You just got to go single. It's like the 50s, Buddy Holly, Big Bopper, Richie Valens era.
Yep.
Here's our 3 acts and they have 2 hit singles each, and there's the tour.
Yep.
I know that when I see somebody that I think is great, like last night, Nikki Sixx said, hey, somebody hit me with some good new raw rock and roll, and I threw up your song on
cool.
Twitter.
Cool.
But I go to the channels that I know that people understand talent, which would be like a Linda Perry, you know. So once in a while, she'll hit me and go, hey, looking for somebody for such and such. I mean, she hasn't done that in years. The last time she did it was like, I think 5 years ago or whatever, and I recommended this band to her. But they were already signed, so she couldn't use them. But I like to go to the channels like that and help any way I can.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, by telling people. But what is the landscape of bands now? Because I haven't played music in years, and you can't really tour right now. So is it just straight up YouTube, TikTok? I
mean, honestly, it's like. Mostly for us, it's Instagram.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Same here.
I think social media is, you know, the devil, but I also, you know,
what are we gonna do?
It's you have to be your own content creator. So we just are constantly trying to come up with new and exciting things for people to watch because everyone's attention span is about, you know, 30 seconds long. So
it's really brutal, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and then It's funny because once in a while, you'll get a Billie Eilish,
Oh God, I love her.
She's fantastic. I remember I tweeted a couple of years ago, this Billie Eilish record is killer. And some guy wrote, really? I was like, get the fuck out of here.
Get your preconceived ego
People are
out
idiots.
of here.
You know what I mean? It's like...
Good music is good music.
It's like the same reason I like Carole King as I like Billie Eilish. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Great songs.
Yeah.
That's at the end of the day, if you don't have songs, who cares? But Billie Eilish is like somebody that everyone is going to study for the next 5 years.
Yeah,
and
her brother.
They're going to forget the main thing was the songs.
Yeah.
Because all they're going to do is they're going to concentrate on the way that it was like, the young generation grabbed onto her and the YouTubes and the TikToks and the internet, the social media, but really the songs were there.
Absolutely. And her and her brother Phineas,
killer.
Phineas is a genius.
Oh my God.
He's amazing. And I really just love her because she's made it okay for people to feel things again.
Yeah.
That's sort of why I liked the 90s music. It's because, you had the 80s where it was all like sex, drugs, rock and roll. And the 90s came in and it was like, we can feel things. We can be sad. We can, we're human.
With everything from grunge to Counting Crows to the Wallflowers to Alanis Morissette.
Yeah.
I mean, the 90s, is that Gertie snoring?
Yeah.
The 90s is loaded with great personal music.
Yeah.
And people like Cobain really kicked that off.
Yeah, I mean, that really spoke to me when I was young. And it made me weird and not have friends because I listened to Alice in Chains instead of whatever. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I had a Hillary Duff phase when I was very young.
Well, yeah, of course. You're a girl and you're
exactly.
like 24 right now. I mean, everybody's, even me, my entryway was Kiss, but before that it was Partridge Family.
Yeah.
And it was Donnie and Marie.
Yeah.
And it was pop. Mm-hmm. It was the Bee Gees. It was Andy Gibb.
Yeah.
Everybody has their way into music. Mm-hmm. It's just what comes out of the speakers when you're young.
Yeah. Yeah. And, my dad would always play the Beatles for me. Like, he would quiz me when I was 4, be like, which Beatle is singing? And, it's picking out the voices. And I think hearing the Beatles, then hearing Nirvana and hearing the influences from the Beatles in that music, it hit it for me. So, is
your dad cool? Is he?
Oh yeah.
What's he do? Is he a musician or?
He played guitar with his friends, in the 70s, but he works as a airplane. He's the wing manager at Boeing, the guys that build the wings. It's his team. So
you guys are rich.
No, I wouldn't say rich. No.
Boeing, don't they make big money?
No, I mean they make middle class.
It costs big money to live in Seattle, boy.
Well, we live 20 minutes south of Seattle. So.
There you go. Oh yeah. I get it.
Yeah, in the suburbs.
Yeah, still cool though.
Yeah, no,
it's beautiful up there.
It is really beautiful. I just couldn't handle the darkness all the time.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, as cliche as it sounds, it made me depressed and write sad music. And, we moved out here and my mood changed drastically from being in that, misty, cloudy, all the time weather. But I still kept the sort of sad song.
Yeah, you can tap into it.
Yeah.
Right?
I've got enough up in here.
So when you're young and you realize, okay, Alice in Chains, Lane Staley and stuff, does your dad buy you a guitar?
Yeah, so my dad had an acoustic guitar, it was an Ibanez acoustic guitar lying around the house, and he tried to teach me Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and I'd be like, my hands hurt, I can't do the one string thing. But then he got me a chord chart, and I would teach myself the songs so that I'd have something to sing along to.
Right.
Because I hated karaoke tracks.
Ooh.
That was my...
With the bad reverb.
Horrible. So I would learn simple songs to sing along. And for me, it was easier to write my own songs with chords instead of learning other people's songs because that seemed harder to me. So once my dad kind of saw that I was... getting a little better at it, he bought me a Taylor acoustic, and that's my favorite
That's cool. You still got it?
Yeah. I write my songs on that.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. I love writing acoustic first because if you have to, in my mind, if you have to play like an MTV Unplugged kind of thing, you have to play it on acoustic. Like, I just love being able to translate between the two. So like Alice in Chains was like that as well. They incorporated the acoustic music into their music. Oh, yeah.
So. I mean, when, Sap.
Exactly, I mean,
when Sap came out, it's like, wait, grunge is huge, and they dropped Sap. People are like, what? I mean, it was game changer.
Yeah, and it allowed their fans to sort of accept that they will do this, within their music. Like Led Zeppelin did it too. They put in, and Led Zeppelin 3, they had all those acoustic songs, and that
was so great. Because people are like, what is this stuff? Yeah. And it's the only way you survive. And then by the time they do the Unplugged, Alice in Chains. Yeah. It's so unreal.
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
I know.
I got goosebumps,
so good.
man.
So
I just think about it and I go crazy.
Yeah.
And I also think about how lucky those people were in that crowd to see that.
Well, when I was growing up and like around when I started playing music up there, after I did the Lane tribute, a guy was there that was on the MTV Unplugged. The extra guitar player.
Oh yeah.
His name's Scotty Olson. He was like, why don't I be like sort of your mentor producer for a little while? So he like sort of took me under his wing and we wrote a lot of songs together, and he kind of guided me in the path of, teaching me how to write and play. And that was an incredible experience to be able to, talk to him about all that stuff, and me being young and idolizing these people. He would tell the stories about MTV Unplugged and all that. It was just really
Did he
cool.
say how he got that gig?
Oh, God.
I mean, was he friends with the guy? I mean, obviously, I never asked Jerry or anybody.
Honestly, I think he was friends with Mike. This might be totally wrong, but I know he was pretty good friends with Mike, and he played with Hart a little bit as well.
Oh, there you go. So they know each other from Hart.
Yeah. So I don't know if they were friends before that or whatever it was, but he knew him in the Seattle circle. So yeah, it was awesome.
What a music, just a behemoth that came out of that city.
Yeah. It's impacted me so much because I've had so many good experiences with the people that knew all the people. And, Lane's mom always took me under her wing, like at the tribute shows. And she was such a nice woman. And we did a tribute one year, and she actually came up and we sang a Mad Season song together.
Whoa.
We did Wake Up.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it was it impacted me in those early, like, formative years so much that I just have a huge love for all those people and that, era.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's so deep in my soul.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, it is just embedded inside of me, you know?
I know. When I find another, like, grunge lover, I'm like, how can we talk about this all day?
Yeah,
like, it's just, you could go on forever.
You got a favorite Alice in Chains song? It's so hard, right?
Ask me that. I mean, no.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the Sap record, and I love like Got Me Wrong and Right Turn, and I mean, how could you not love like Love Hate Love? And
oh my God, Live at the Moor. Could be one of the best vocal performances ever.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
so fucking dark. It's black and white.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, we're going to do Love, Hate, and Love or whatever. And you're like, oh, all right. And then it's just the setup.
Yeah. I know. It's crazy.
It's the epitome of crazy, dark, rainy night.
Yeah.
That's what it just feels like.
He's like, I trekked in the snow uphill.
Oh,
he's
my
like
God.
telling the stories.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So good. Him and like Jeff Buckley, they had great sense of humor. It's funny because if you watch Jeff Buckley, he's dark as fuck when he's singing.
Yeah.
But then in between, he's just cracking jokes, I think, to kind of break it up a little, or else
you have to.
Yeah, by mid-show, you'd be like, I'm going to kill myself.
Yeah, you really, like, I think we do that too as a band, like, because it is, playing sad music, it's kind of like ripping open the wounds. Like, for me, honestly, like, if I write something from an emotional place, every time I have to go back and sing it, it's kind of like, reopening that wound.
Right.
And you just have to keep moving on with life. And that's why I like, comedians and, all that stuff. It's just, you have to laugh. You have to laugh at stuff.
Yeah. I mean, that's
how you get
especially
through it.
right now.
Yeah.
So what are you guys going to do? When does the record come out?
Well, we're still doing a couple more singles. So we've got the first 2 out. We have another one coming out May 28th. And then we have one more after that, probably sometime early July. And then the record will probably come out end of July.
It's just your guys' own record, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we're not on a label or anything. We have a distribution company called MGM, and they've been helping us a little bit with, planning and that sort of thing, but no label.
Yeah. And then, do you guys, pre-COVID, were you playing around LA like crazy? What was that like?
Yeah, well, so since Bexley is sort of a newer project, like in the last 2.5 years or so, we played around do you know the Redwood bar downtown?
Yeah.
So those guys are really cool. Like the guy that puts it on, Eddie, he really treats his bands well. And it's a small dingy club, but it's got that vibe of no, they're here for the music. They're here for the bands. And I love playing there. So we would go, around kind of clubs that size. We haven't really gone above that yet because we had just started and then the pandemic happened. So yeah, but we're hoping we get back out there pretty soon.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah, I think we're gonna do a small show in Seattle while we're up there because my friend is a club owner and he's just putting on some intimate sort of MTV Unplugged vibe shows.
What's up there still? I heard the show box is gonna close.
Yeah.
And then the Crocodile's gone, right?
I think they're relocating it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that's what I heard. Maybe something's changed. But
wasn't that the REM guy's wife's place?
I thought it was Sean Kinney's place.
Is it Sean's?
Yeah, he owns half of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, the Croc's up there. The Showbox, obviously, the Showbox Soto. There's 2 of them.
Oh, there is?
Yeah, there's one right by Pike Place. That's the main one. And then Showbox Soto is more south.
I only played the one downtown with the chandeliers inside.
Yeah,
that thing's great. And then what's the other place? Tractor?
Yeah, Tractor. There's Chop Suey. There's, oh God, I haven't been up there in a minute, but yes. Those places. Elco's gone, El Corazon.
Oh, yeah. I did the Moore. The Paramount.
Oh, yes. I mean, yeah. Those places are still there.
I know. I'm just saying. And then I did the Showbox, Crocodile. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I did all those back in the day.
You did them all then.
And then even comedy, I just did a year ago or so with Burr. Maybe 2 years ago. I don't know. My time's so fucking off. Could have been 3 years ago. I go, last year, man. We were up there. They go, dude, that was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But the Paramount, which is just unreal.
Oh, so beautiful. Have you seen the Nirvana footage from Halloween at the Paramount? Where he comes out in the...
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And Soundgarden filmed a thing in there, too.
Yeah, I actually saw Soundgarden there.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, I was so lucky enough to see Chris Cornell play 5 different times. And I think 3 were Soundgarden shows. 1 was Temple of the Dog when they came here.
I saw that. That was probably one of the greatest shows I've ever seen.
So it made my dream come true.
I mean, when they did Achilles' Last Stand,
oh yeah,
I just fucking fell out of my chair.
I mean, for me, it's Reach Down.
Well, of course. Also, Wooden Jesus, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Reach Down is a goddamn saga.
When he goes a cappella with himself.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, Mother Love Bone is the king to me.
Yeah.
Andrew Wood. Have you seen Malfunction, that documentary?
No, I haven't seen the documentary.
Oh, you got to see that.
Yeah, I should watch it.
Oh, yeah. Malfunction, and Andrew Wood story. It's unreal.
I've got sort of an Andrew Wood story.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. His fiance, Xana.
Yeah.
Do you know about Xana?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Of course. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah. So she would come to my shows. We're friends. And that same night, I sang with Nancy, or Lane's mom, Nancy. Xana was there. And she came up to me, sort of halfway through the show, and she was like, I brought this jacket. It's Andy's. I think he'd want you to have it.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
What the fuck?
I
What is it,
know.
like a blazer or something?
No, it's a white fur jacket.
Oh, yeah, he wears it in a video.
Yeah, it's that jacket.
Oh, my God.
I know.
Well, you got it still?
Yeah, it's hanging in our studio.
That's fucking nuts, man.
I
He was a
know.
god.
I know.
How about Sean Smith, man? That guy was a goddamn god. He and I were friends, and we played gigs
really?
together. Yeah.
He was at the first show I played, the tribute. Like, he played that same bill as me.
He's a god. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
But he was unreal, man.
I know.
That Brad record
They're
is
cool.
20th Century and Screen.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And he was just so nice. He played Angry Chair at the tribute.
Oh, Angry Chair.
Yeah, he played like acoustic and just sat there, or maybe he played it on a Strat. Yeah, he just sat up there and played it himself, and
that was the one Lane played guitar on.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
Red SG.
Yeah.
I know it inside and out.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha.
We're, like,
just love
nerded
it,
out.
man. That twangy boom,
yeah.
boom.
Yeah, that's like me. Like teenage me was like, I gotta learn that guitar solo. It's so cool.
God damn!
Like,
You got an
just the
electric
screeching.
guitar?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got lots of guitars.
What do you got?
My first electric was a ES339. Which
That's cool.
It's like hollow body, like cherry red. Like I loved those guitars. But I play these Yamaha Rev Stars. Like Yamaha endorses like our band. And they make these really cool. Have you seen a Rev Star before?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they kind of look like an SG, but they play like a Les Paul, and it's like it does the job for me. I love them. They're really cool.
And what about amps?
We go with orange amps.
Oh, great.
Yeah, we have a couple of those. When I was growing up, I did like a JCM 900, which is just
Great amp.
Yeah. So I would go through that. But yeah, we have a couple like Boss cabs and some Boss like solid state heads because they endorse us too. But like they mostly give us a ton of pedals, and it's just so fun to play around with all those. And that's how we came up a lot of the sounds on the record with just playing around with pedals. And we have this one called a super shifter that I've had since I was like 14, and I heard someone playing it at a show, and I was like, I gotta know what that is. Like, I have to play that because when you hit it, it goes like, woo!
Oh yeah, yeah.
So like,
yeah.
To me, it was just like shooting up into the stratosphere. I was like, oh my god, like I gotta have that. So we incorporate that into our show.
That's cool.
But yeah, we go a little pedal crazy.
Are you gonna get somebody else in the band for the live shows?
So far, we haven't, because we can run it through bass through track, or like just keeping it the three of us has been pretty simple for like small shows.
Yeah.
Ideally, we'd like a bass player. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when we're doing it DIY, low budget, right now we can't afford to pay someone.
So it's just two guitars and drums, and then the bass runs through like Logic or something?
Yeah,
or like
we run it through
Radar?
playback.
Yeah.
So Steve actually works playback on the side when the pandemic isn't happening. He used to tour with St. Vincent, do you know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so he works for her as like playback, Gwen Stefani.
Wow.
Sia. Yeah, so like some bigger artists, and he does that as a job, so we're pretty lucky he knows how to do all that for our live show.
Now, do you have to have a job or no?
My job is to make sure that the others are doing their jobs. I take care of my stuff, like I set up my pedals and amp and mic and all that, but basically making sure I'm the one that talks to everybody. I got to make sure I'm like talking to the owner, talking to the the sound guy, making sure
that was my fucking gig.
Yeah.
You're better at it, man. And then later on, they're like, dude, what about my song?
I know. The thing is, like, I'm a terrible talker. Like, I'm honestly very bad at small talk. So, like, when someone else is good at it, I can kind of feed off of that. But, like, for the most part, if someone's like, hey, why don't you tell a story? I'm like, I'd rather just not.
You got good stories. What do you mean?
I
mean, you'll get that going.
Yeah, I know.
Especially when if you're on a tour.
Yeah.
You just start it just starts happening.
Yeah, that's our goal for the next like 6 months to a year, is to try to get on a tour when that starts opening back up, because I really think that's pretty much one of the only ways you can organically get new fans.
100%. It's the only way you can do it.
Yeah, and this group hasn't been on a tour yet, and I just really think if we could get in people's ears, it would, grow organically pretty quickly. So yeah, you can only do so much on social media because of the algorithms and whatnot.
Yeah, it's brutal, right?
Yeah.
You're just like, wait a minute, 50,000 people follow me,
yeah,
and this got 1,000 likes.
Right, you're like
50,000 people follow me, and they're real. I didn't pay for shit.
Right,
this is like years of Instagram grinding, and you're just like, come on, fucking computer, give me a break.
It's all algorithms.
I know,
and it's like.
And no one understands it either. It's like, well, you should post every day at 3 p.m. It's like, well, what the fuck is that? You should post at 10 a.m.
There's no rhyme or reason.
I know. Yeah.
And, the labels want you to be famous before you come to them.
Oh, they want you to do all the work.
Yeah, they want you to have 10 million followers.
Yeah. That's the weirdest thing about music now.
Yeah.
Because it's just some dude sitting at home now on YouTube and stuff. They're like, look at this band. They got 4 million downloads.
I know.
Yeah, sign them. Give them a 360 deal and throw it out there. And it's just like...
It's like my worst nightmare.
I know. And there's no work by them at all. They're like, sorry, you didn't sell anything.
Yeah.
See ya.
They shelf you. And it's
That's
oh, by the way, you owe us money.
Yeah. It's like fucking demon.
Yeah. I know. I almost don't want a record deal in that sense if it's going to be like that. Like, I'd rather...
Just do it your own, man.
Get on
Grateful
tour.
Dead, Metallica, all these people that built it over the years. Then by the time they come to you, you have the power, and you go, nah, man, either you give me all of this, or we just keep going on.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, because you get to a point where it's like, why you don't need them then?
Yeah, well, especially
when
now.
they want you. Yeah.
I mean, look, you're doing your records at home. They sound great. You're doing your videos, and social media. You can book tours and you can play festivals.
Yeah.
And there's all this stuff you can do as long as everybody's in the same. That's what I love about comedy. It's just me.
Yeah.
So if a gig sucks, I don't have to worry about it. Dude, that gig kind of sucked, man. My old lady was wondering why we didn't get any money,
yeah.
Hey, there's no money.
Yeah.
So that's the rule number one of rock. There's no money.
There is no money.
So just find something you can do at home that you love.
Yeah.
And then we play music at night that we love also.
Yeah.
So it's just the reality.
Yeah. And it's just, I've been really focusing on that the last year, is just making sure it's making me happy. Like, I don't want to do something that's not going to make me happy.
Right.
So, yeah.
Maybe you could tour with Alice in Chains.
I mean,
have you talked to Jerry or anybody? Get your record to him?
I haven't been able to get it to Jerry. I mostly just talked to Mike.
I'll send it over to him.
Oh, well, I mean, if you want.
Yeah.
But Mike said he loved it.
Yeah.
So that to me, I was like, oh man, that's awesome.
Mike's so great, huh?
Yeah, someone in Alice in Chains thinks my music is good. Like, I can die now. I'm good.
Now, what's the record called? Tell everybody what it's called.
It's just self-titled, Bexley.
Yeah, and it's there's 2 songs right now on iTunes.
Yep.
And also they have this live at the Jam in the Van, which is cool. And then they have the EP. But the 2 songs out right now are Misery and If We Have to Die.
Yep.
You can see the videos on their Instagram. Tell them the Instagram.
Bexley_official.
Yeah, man. Tell everybody about this. This is how we do it. And it's very rare that I have a unknown band on, but I just really appreciated the grind that you guys are going through. And I thought if my show could do anything for you guys, it would be great, because it's just a battle out there. I know I'm going through it right now as a grown man. Like, is anybody listening?
It's hard.
I'm doing shit.
I think, honestly, if we can all just work together,
That's it.
Like, it sounds corny, but like,
it's
everyone
real.
Everyone hears out for themselves, and I really do think if we just joined forces, there would be so much more to grow from. I mean, that's just a personal opinion, but
I'm the same way. Instead of saying fuck that guy, just be like, good for that guy, man. Let's bond together. Let's all let's create some art together. And
how can we help each other?
Yeah,
it's just I like that mentality.
It's true. Now, you like comedy?
I do. Yes.
Did you go to the Bon Scott tribute just to see Mike Inez, or were you surprised there was comedy there?
No, we knew there was going to be comedy there. We were very excited. I actually got tickets for Steve as a surprise because, like, you know, he'd been dying to see all you guys, and we went, and it was awesome.
That's great.
Yeah, there was a part during Bill Burr's set where he said a joke, and I was the only person that just laughed, like, really loud, and it was hilarious.
We're hoping to do that 2 nights.
Oh, really?
And maybe we'll have you sing a Bon Scott song.
I'd be down.
There you go. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But
at least
all
a
right.
duet.
Well, do you got a website or anything?
Yeah, we do. It's bexleyofficial.com. Find everything there, all the music and videos and bio and whatnot.
Awesome. And it's Bexley, just to give you guys a heads up.
Yes, yeah, I do have to spell it every time I say it.
Yeah, I did too. I just want people to know because I looked it up, man. I wasn't there. And they just move on.
I know. I hate that.
I know. It's so funny. Well, thanks for doing the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's been really cool to chat about, you know, grunge and nerd out about it.
Absolutely,
We didn't even get to Chris Cornell, but
oh well, I mean,
we did a little.
Cornell it's so funny. I saw Cornell from, you know, the way beginnings, and I was lucky enough that we had the same booking agent back in the day.
Oh man,
guy named Tom LaPenna at Triad, and he hit me up and he said, hey, you want to go on this kind of California run and go watch Soundgarden?
Holy shit.
It was on the Louder Than Love tour.
No way.
And I told this story before, but one of the stops was in Santa Barbara, and they played like a frat house.
Yeah.
Giant, like huge Craftsman,
man.
like a Animal House, the movie Animal House type of thing.
Okay.
And they played in the living room, and I never forgot it. I can see it right now. I remember everything about it.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've seen him many, many times. I've met him. Temple of the Dog is one of the greatest. I even saw his weird solo thing where in Ventura.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that was weird. It was like the kind of weird dancey thing, you know? Remember that thing?
Oh, yeah. I love him. That's not my favorite.
I know, but man, I even went and saw that.
That's awesome.
Drove up to Ventura to see that.
Jeez. I saw him do in Seattle. They did one show. It was the Seattle Symphony, and Mike McCready put on
I saw that.
Mad Season and Temple
what was
of the
that
Dog.
like?
Oh my God, I have not cried so much like watching someone play. They came out and Chris Cornell sang, like, you know, Reach Down, and he did the Mad Season songs, and it was just...
Yeah.
And then the last song they played was Alone, the last song on the record, but they just the band played, and they tracked in Lane's vocals to be in with the band.
Oh.
It was just haunting. It was amazing.
Can't believe he's gone.
Yeah, that was my first real heartbreak, I think.
It's funny you hear talking about it because I had no idea that was just your thing. And this morning I was reading this. Nancy Wilson wrote this song, The Dragon.
Oh, yeah?
About Lane. She wrote it way back then.
I haven't heard it.
Yeah, it just came out, I guess. I haven't heard it either. I just read about it today. She was talking about she wrote this thing and that she knew Lane was going to be gone. And it's wild, man. It's the guy was, I mean, man, next level.
Yeah.
Next level.
Yeah.
The times I saw him and the impact he had on me, just his look, you know, especially on the Wood video.
Oh my God, I just watched that like a couple days ago. When
his
he's
look
just like,
on that.
Yeah.
That is the, and then when he's wearing the leather, like he's almost Rob Halford, and
he's got like the bead. Does he have a bead in his beard?
Yeah, it's just crazy, man. All his different looks and he was the one, man. He was the one. All those guys were the ones, though. You know, Mike Starr,
special.
Kurt Cobain, all those guys. It's funny that you brought up My Sister's Machine. They were great.
Yeah,
I mean, they were really Alice in Chains, but they were still great, though.
Alice in Chains with the Z.
Yeah. So great. All right. Thank you so much for doing the show.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys live. If
sometime soon. I'm
sure. I'll go see it. So hit me up. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget, check it out. Bexley, Bexley. and listen to it. 2 songs out, then they got an EP, and they've got live jam in the van, all kinds of music out there. Spread the word. Candles lit.